Hey guys, it's Paul and welcome back to my channel. I have my bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a minor in psychology, and I am going to say that for the next 87 videos because I'm just so proud of myself. I'm also a board member of a nonprofit, Voices for the Silenced, which helps with resources for missing people, especially in West Virginia. We help set up searches, we help bring dogs in, we can do missing person posters, setting up Facebook pages, even making reels for a little short thing to share to everybody about your loved one. We do our best to try to get all of our resources to anybody who reaches out to us. So if you know someone that's missing, please get in contact with us and we will help you the best we can. And as you can tell by the title of this video, our nonprofit is perfect for this video to talk about. But we are in person for another Talking CJ. And this one is what to do when a person goes missing. So what are some things we know about missing persons? Contrary to popular belief, there are a lot more people that are found that are not found. Unfortunately, found can mean deceased. It can be they've went through a massive amount of danger, such as like abduction, kidnapping, or it could be that they were just a runaway. Sometimes it can just be a misunderstanding because in this time period, we are so used to be able to contact anybody in an instant, and anybody can be missing. For some reason, people think you can only really report children missing or people only care about children, but no, there's a lot of adults that go missing too. And some of the reasons people end up being missing is it can be as simple as someone getting lost or disoriented, like a hiker going on a trail and getting turned around and not knowing how to get out of the woods. It can be also someone exploring a new city and not knowing which way they were supposed to turn or where exactly they are at. People can voluntarily go missing. We see this a lot with people running away, or even a lot of the times people leave abusive relationships and they think the only way they can truly be safe is completely separating themselves from their past life. And Americans do have the right to up and leave if they want to. Of course, like I said before, it can be an abduction or kidnapping that causes you to go missing because that is someone taking you against your free will. And some people are reported missing and you can be missing due to maybe a car accident or an injury or illness that can cause you not to be able to contact anyone, like maybe following a hit and run accident, someone having dementia or debilitating mental illness and are in what some call an episode and can't snap out of it. This could cause someone not able to contact anybody. So a lot of the times these people are reported missing. And how do you know for sure someone is missing? And the first tip is to always consider them alive until found otherwise. You just believe they cannot contact you at this time for whatever reason and you search all areas. Check their social media from your own social media. Do not log into their accounts, but go on yours, search them and see if there was any activity. And please be sure you don't log into it yourself because that can mess up the data if you need it tracked later on in an investigation, and you can throw the whole thing off. If it seems that they haven't been active on social media, contact their family and friends that they are close to, that they talk to fairly frequently, and see if they've heard from them and how long it has been since they've heard from them. If nobody has heard from them, contact public places that it's possible they just couldn't contact you if they were in, like a hospital, jails, schools. You can check with law enforcement to see if maybe they have gotten a call about them, check their work, and you could technically check the morgue too. But I recommend that one pretty much last. If you've gotten to the point that you're pretty sure you need to report them missing, call or go to the police station pretty much right away when you come to this conclusion. Definitely take it serious if someone has a mental disability, physical disability, if someone is a minor or over 65 years old. When you go to file the report, you're definitely going to need several updated photos of this person, a list of things they might have taken with them, and a list of things that they didn't take with them that you think was really important, such as keys, a phone, their ID, money, that type of thing. Some details you really want to have about somebody when you go to file a report is their full name, birth date, and physical description, like eye color, hair color, height, weight, age, if they have any tattoos, birthmarks, scars. And like I said, you want several photos. You want them to be pretty clear in color and as new as possible. You'll also want a description of the clothes that they were wearing when they went missing, the last people they were known to be around, how long they've went missing, and if there's any health issues that is a big deal if they're not getting their medication or something. And when you file this report, you want to be as honest as possible, even if it's ugly. You want to be as honest as possible because that's the only way a true investigation can happen. You need to tell the police if they have recently got into an argument with somebody, if they've been acting weird, if they had plans in the future, maybe some habits they have, and what their personality is like. And creating a type of clue kit is amazing. Bringing a hairbrush or a toothbrush, that way you can sample DNA from it. Provide a cell phone or computers that maybe they've used, maybe something is in their search history. Provide credit card statements so they can make a map out of where these transactions were happening. And any journal or diaries that this person had. You can ask the police to track their cell phone history, their credit card history, and that type of thing. And whatever you do, do not take no for an answer. Some departments are going to try to tell you that you have to wait 24 hours, and you absolutely don't. And some places also try to say if it's after 48 or 72 hours, you can't report someone missing, and that's false also. They can take a report at any time, and you do not leave that station until they take it. And one thing you need to know if someone is missing that you love is do not rely solely on the police. There's more avenues than ever to get the word out about your missing person. So definitely take any opportunity you can to get as much coverage as you can, because that's really what gets the attention of these police stations to take missing person cases seriously. Something that a family can do is hire their own PI. And I know that sounds really expensive. I definitely recommend to set up things like GoFundMe accounts or fundraisers, anything like that. And this one is not realistic for a lot of people, and I absolutely understand that. I have a GoFundMe running right now for a case that I covered last summer for their mom to get a PI because the police just really did not do their job in that case at all. So I get it definitely can be expensive, but if you can somehow find a way to afford it, it's honestly one of the best things you can do. You can contact nonprofits, like my own. And I've already explained in the beginning what we do, so I'm not really going to go into more detail about what other nonprofits do, but it is a lot of footwork. It's definitely a good idea to look at more than one nonprofit and contact 2, 3, 4, however many you can really get your hands on. You can also contact rescue teams. Some of them have dive experts. If you think that maybe your loved one could be in a river, lake, pond, that type of thing. There's some with canine units, so you can track scents and that type of thing also. They have more specialized things than like nonprofits would have for the most part. And it's a really good idea to try to get your story to them just to see what they can offer you. The worst they can say is, we can't really do much for you, and you're just in the same spot you were before. So you might as well just ask. Also, talk to media, as much media as you can. Written media, face-to-face media, podcasts, like audio media, anything you can think of to get your story for your missing person out there. Designate a spokesperson from your family. That way, not everyone is getting so burnt out talking about it, because this stuff is extremely heavy and extremely stressful. And for someone whose passion this is, sometimes I have to take a step back. So having someone that can do it and is designated to handle that is a good idea, because then once they're getting a little too much, you can switch, and it's someone who knows the whole story all the time. You're not getting misinformation here and there from just the way each other tells stories. Places to contact are news channels. Get a hold of your local news, see if they'll run a story on it. Get a hold of newspapers, see if you can write an article on the missing person, or maybe it's a story they're interested in sending a writer to. You can also look at local online websites. Get a hold of them and see if they will post something about them, or post their picture and a small blurb of their story. Anything that can get it out there. Contact as much as you can. You can make social media pages for your missing person. A lot of tips run through social media pages. Some of them are just absolute washes of tips, but some of them are actually really helpful. And any of them that you get through your social media page is really important to turn over to the police. Post often on your own social media about your missing person. See if your friends will share it for you. Most people will not care to do that, just ask. Contact as many missing person websites as you can find. Contact YouTube channels and podcasts. You guys obviously know you can contact me at any point to cover a missing person, and I will gladly do it. And I do massive deep dives on each person I cover. That's why it takes me so long sometimes to do these videos. But yeah, there's tons of YouTube channels that will cover missing persons and that you can send requests in for. Check those out, because YouTube is a big area for true crime right now. And a lot of Netflix documentaries and Hulu, all these channels that are getting a lot of true crime docuseries posted are looking at YouTube channels and seeing what they're doing and what videos are doing so well. Same with podcasts. Podcasts are huge right now. See if they'll cover your missing person case for you, and a lot of them would gladly do it for someone in the community who's personally asking. That's also something free that you can share to your friends on Facebook or followers on Instagram or whatever platform you use. It's a good place to have the whole story combined in one area, so everyone can get as much information on your missing person as possible. And another very easy thing you can do is make a flyer, but if you're going to make your own, make it easy to read. You want it to catch the eye, and usually that's why a lot of people use the red and the black. It kind of offsets each other pretty well, and they're fairly easy colors to read. Make sure there's at least one picture of your missing person on there. That way people know what they look like. And use it in as many highly populated areas as you can. You can share it on social media. You can post it at grocery stores, gas stations, and places that maybe your missing person liked to go. Is there a certain bar they loved? Is there a coffee place they went to every day? Because the people that were at the places they most frequent might recognize them too. And if it's a missing child, act immediately. I cannot stress that enough. Do not wait around to see if your child will appear or the child will appear. Call the police first, and of course go through all the steps of filing a report we said earlier, but also contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Get a profile of that child on there immediately, because that is such a huge outlet for missing children to be found. Now, with each investigation of missing person cases, the state and jurisdiction handles it a little differently. So I'm going to be speaking in the most broadest terms, what a lot of police officers use to help track missing person cases is they use their license plate scanners. If your missing person left with their car, turn in their license plate number. Any scanner that comes across that license plate will be alerted. And that's a really good way to track down where your missing person is. Or you can find out if they're not driving their car, possibly who did something to them. You can use canine units. You can use canines for searches and, scent tracking and things like that. Online databases are huge, such as NamUs and a few other ones we're going to cover in a second. Planes can help in an aerial view. Law enforcement, social media. You'll see a lot of law enforcement agencies starting to post on their Facebook page and things like that. See if they will post a missing person poster or just a post in general about the missing person. And helicopters is another way people do aerial views that you can get a little closer to the ground with. And the police also use interviewing as a great way to try to track down a missing person. They'll interview the family, they'll interview friends, and that's how they really learn their personality and habits and the things we talked about earlier to be forthcoming with. So they can make almost a master plan of what they think this person did and give themselves an avenue to go down. They can use four-wheelers to look in more wooded areas and places that maybe car or on foot is probably not the best way to go about. They can use search warrants to look in the person's house, car that maybe had been left, cell phone records, that type of thing. In areas that need it, can use Marine Patrol or Mountain Patrol. And after a few days, you definitely want to contact law enforcement. You want to keep a pretty consistent relationship with the police. Don't let them forget that your missing person is out there. And keep the public very informed. The more people know, the better the chance it's going to spark something in someone's memory. And of course, keep the police updated with any tips or discoveries you have found. You guys want to work together as much as possible on this. And I want to go over some systems and databases that as a whole criminal justice uses to help missing persons. That way you knew a lot of different avenues to reach out to make sure your missing person is on there. The National Crime Information Center is the first one I'm going to talk about. Most people know this as NCIC. This is an area that law enforcement is able to access if they're in the system, and all police are required to put missing people on this site. So for sure you want to make sure your missing person is on there because it's legally bound that they have to. And it's just an area where your missing person will have all their information for all law enforcement to be able to access. Now, NamUs is another big one. It is an internet-based tool for people of all ages that are missing, unclaimed, or unidentified. It helps cross-reference all those types of records for each individual. And it does help aid in investigations and professionals when it comes to the DNA side of things. But this site is not required for police to use, so you definitely want to check to see if your missing person is on this site, because a lot of law enforcement agencies claim they've never heard of NamUs before. A thing that you all, I'm sure, have had alert on your phone is an Amber Alert. It is an urgent post that gets sent through all technology at this point for the most serious types of cases. It's mostly of children or if someone has a proven mental or health disability that is dire. When these go out, usually you're thought to be in serious danger of injury or death, or usually thought to be abducted or kidnapped, or you have disappeared in really suspicious circumstances. Another alert system is the Missing and Endangered Person Advisory, also known as MIPA. Usually it is alerted on social media and news channels. It helps track runaways, missing children, children involved in custody disputes, and missing adults. It does expire within 24 hours, so you do need to have the police ask for an extension detention if they have not been found, or you have them just cancel it if they have came up. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They are huge. Most people know this organization, but it is not required for the police to report their missing children in their areas to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, even though this organization has been huge in finding children. And at the end of the day, the police will prioritize missing person cases. It really determines the urgency and the effort put into the cases, and you can guarantee that missing children is way up on the list, where someone with maybe a mental illness is unfortunately pushed farther to the bottom. There are a lot of people that argue that race has a huge indicator on how important the police take this case, and I think, especially being a West Virginian, we all know how the police handle cases where people are possibly addicted to drugs or alcohol. Most cases that they do not really look into very hard are unfortunately the homeless, the mentally ill, and minorities. But if your missing person has been found, please alert the authorities immediately. Please post on social media fairly quickly. That way anybody that has seen your post and could still be looking they don't have to anymore. You can even disable or remove groups for your missing person. That way people just know immediately they have been found and there's nothing to look for anymore. And thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for me, and hit that notification button. That way you're notified the next time I upload. The GoFundMe I mentioned earlier is for Crystal Young. So please, if you haven't, go watch that video so you know why her mom needs this PI so bad. I still do have stickers for sale, and I just got some of my new ones, so I'm excited. They are $2 each, and all proceeds go to the Cold Case Foundation, so it is for a good cause. And thank you guys so much again for watching, and thank you for letting me just take a little bit of a burnout break. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!